Yes. Um, Switching now, in the interest of time, to our next presenter, Andrick Lal. While you're setting that up, Mr. Andrick Lal is the Senior Geodetic Surveyor based at the Geoscience, Energy, and Maritime Division of the Pacific Community in Suva in Fiji. He's been involved in projects such as the Pacific Sea Level and Geodetic Monitoring Project, as well as the Regional Maritime Boundaries Project. And he also serves the Pacific Geospatial and Surveying Council partnership desk.
Thank you very much, Leo. And thank you, Leo, and thanks to Alison for giving me this opportunity to present at the fifth workshop for IGS. And I'd like to also acknowledge my colleagues from the Pacific who are attending this workshop as well, and colleagues from Geoscience Australia, and also my IC colleagues as well. And big Bula Binaka to you, and Talofa and Malolele as well. So um, again, first of all, we would like to also acknowledge the Government of Australia for providing the support with this project. It's been quite a long-term project. As you could see that uh, this project is managed by the Climate and Ocean Support Program in the Pacific. And it actually began in 1991 as a response to concerns raised by the Pacific Island countries with respect to the sea level rise or global warming. And then again, yeah, the Australian government is supporting the 13 countries in the region, as you could see, with respect to the infrastructure in the tide gauge stations or the sea level stations or the GNSS station, which is the geodetic monitoring stations as well. So those all the data sets are being collected continuously at one or two tide gauges, and again with the GNSS being established in early 2000, there is a continuous logging of the data sets as well. So again, the primary goal for this project is to generate an accurate record of variance in long-term sea level for the Pacific, established methods uh, to have the data readily available to the Pacific Islanders as well, and to be used for determining the sea level rise or fall. So, but again, as well as all the other speakers have alluded as well, this is a project which is actually saving a critical well infrastructure for collecting the baseline data for strengthening the early warning system capacity in the country and in the region too as well. So this is the schematic of how the sea level and geodetic monitoring stations are linked to, and most of these GNSS core stations are within the 5 kilometer range in these 13 Pacific Island countries as well. So we do have GNSS core stations in each of those 13 countries, with the tide gauge station at the wharf as well. So I know most of the speakers have spoken about the early warning system, but I'm here to talk on the infrastructure side of it, which is very important for us, and it has been quite a big challenge, which Willie has mentioned earlier, that we would like to establish more GNSS cores in the countries. And again, not only the infrastructure side, but we also have the challenges in the capacity side for data processing, the data management side, and those are the few which I have named as well. So when we look at these sea level monitoring stations, the tide gauges, this is the oldest one, which is in Suva now, has been operating since 1972, and and in Lotoka since 1990. So they've been recording the sea level data, and it's gone past the 18-year cycle of collecting the tide data as well. With the GNSS scores around the region, this station was established in Lotoka in 2001, and it has been collecting, and it has been upgraded to work as a network RTK station too as well. And we can also see that some of the private sector who are making use of this station as for their network RTK as case. So again, these geodetic monitoring station and the sea level station serves very important for us as well. And with that, the data and the information is provided through the website, which is available on the Bureau of Met page, and also on the Pacific Ocean Portal website as well, which is managed by the Pacific Community. And when we look at some of the data information provided from the project, we are looking at the anomalies for the monthly mean sea levels, the monthly mean barometric pressures, and the monthly mean water temperatures as well. So that has been collected for every station. And with the related data information in terms of climate, from the tide gauge stations, we are collecting the wind speed and the direction, the atmospheric pressure, air and water temperature, and the sea levels as well. And these are also available in real time as well, which the later presentation slide. So again, when we talk about relating uh, our small islands and atolls, and we would like to know how high above we are actually. Uh, we have provided some vertical datum relationship diagrams as well, or in the tide calendars, where we could see that how we can relate the automatic datum to the mean sea level datum, or well, not only to that, but also to the ellipsoid 2 as well, which is to the GNSS stations. So again, that information is provided to define the vertical reference frame for the 13 sites as well. And when we also look at the real-time display, the sea level data that is also coming out from every station too as well. And you could see that those are the changes you expect when there is a tsunami in the country, in the region. You could see those changes in the sea level as opposed to the predicted sea level data sets as well. So this data is this real-time display is also available online too as well, and you can access them as well. And I've provided the URL at the bottom. And looking at surveys on the ground and what we are doing. So with these monitoring surveys, we have been doing high precision monitoring surveys with the total station differential leveling technique and connecting the GNSS scores to the tide gauge stations as well. So this is actually the survey being happening in New, and currently this tide gauge station is not in operational now because it was washed away by the big waves when there was a surge as well. So when we talk about the GNSS scores connecting to the tide gauge station, we always refer to the reference or the datum referred to for the tide gauge is tide gauge 0, and we have also determined the datum for the project in terms of the GNSS scores as being the reference point. And we have also published a report in terms of the vertical motion of Pacific Island tide gauges, and that is also available online too as well. And I have provided the URL. So these publications are available online, and as you could see that how we link the GNSS scores to the tide gauge station using the total station differential leveling. And we do have from the GNSS scores to the tide gauge station, we do have deep benchmarks which are deep driven, and we have temporary benchmarks as well. And we also have these database for the benchmarks available through Google as well, or through Google Map. We will be happy to share that. So later last year, we were able to publish one of the first reports which has been revived, and it has been published on the Geoscience Australia publication portal. As you could see that we are also providing the wiring diagram of the vertical reference frame for every station as well, and providing in terms of the heights to the ellipsoid and to the tide gauge reference point, which is the tide gauge 0 as well. So these reports are available online too as well, and they can be accessed through Geoscience Australia. And we are soon making them available through the Ocean portal as well, and the SPC publication. So when we talk about the geodetic monitoring stations and the data being available, these geodetic monitoring stations or the GNSS cores are managed by Geoscience Australia, and they are available through the GNSS data center portal. As you could see, that the network is network and the data sets are available. As been actually Simon has presented some of these in presentation earlier. And again, when we want to access these data sets and download these data sets, you can go through the data repository and select for the site. So when we talk about the GNSS cores station in Vanuatu, which is the Port Vila, PTVL, we can download the high rate data sets or the daily 30-second data sets as well. So those are the options available as well. And again, there were questions of what epoch of latitude and longitude we would use in terms of positioning. So that is also available on the data center as well, or on the portal. When we look at the GNSS station data, we also are looking at the land velocity. So I know that Vili in his presentation has provided for the Tonga, and this is uh, one of the which we happened in early 2010. So that was the shift which you see in Samoa, which has happened. And then again, that is one of the purpose of the GNSS cores, and we are able to monitor the earthquake at a low frequency level as well. So what it does, it adds further value in terms of defining the geodetic reference plane in the Pacific, and it is quite required because if you the geodetic datum for the Pacific in the countries, sorry, yeah. So if you see the geodetic datum in the Pacific, 11 out of 14 countries are still in local datum or local reference system. So we are looking at Fiji. They have developed or established another 8 additional GNSS core stations. And we also have actually worked with the Department of Lands and Survey in Tuvalu and in Fiji and in Tonga to enhance the skills on managing the data in terms of converting the data and in at how you're going to manage the GNSS stations as well. We are working closely to make these GNSS core stations to be part of the Asia Pacific network, which is managed by Geoscience Australia. So in terms of operational side, in terms of data capacity side, we are providing that training to our colleagues in the Pacific as well. So again, when we talk about the land boundaries or land cadastre, we should not forget about our geopolitical boundaries of in the ocean. And as you know that the 20% of the ocean is Pacific. And again, the Pacific Maritime Boundaries Project has been quite successful in defining these as such that we have delineated most of our boundaries as well. So as you could see that we were able to, in the green, shared boundaries are demarcated. And there are some screenshots of how we were able to do some field work to define the maritime boundaries in the Pacific as well. And when we talk about the GNSS, GNSS cores in the sea level station, that actually supports our oceanography as well in terms of coastal monitoring and the development of the numerical models as well, the coastal hazards assessments and the early warning system and the risk assessments. So it develops an operational ocean and wave forecast system for our our colleagues in terms of enhancement and things like that. So that has been quite in terms of adding value to the stations to the data which has been provided by these stations. In terms of the mapping out the post-disaster assessment service as well. We were able to map out that too as well. And we can undertake the topo and bathymetry surveys, the reference for the GNSS source and the tide gauge stations too as well. So it does strengthens the navigational and the coastal management side of it as well. So and it increases the risk knowledge. So when we're talking about the impact of the coastal hazards like that. So again, the stations have been quite innovative and had made tailored inundation forecast system for the Fiji Met office as well. So they have been using that for uh, offshore wave forecast, the water level forecast at the shore, and the inundation forecast too as well. So these are the stations which has been actually, adding values for the baseline data. The project itself also produces the tide calendars, which has been quite famous, and it's now available on on through the Google app or the Apple Store as well. So you can download them and you can actually access the sea level data for each of the stations through the app too as well. And we have produced these tide calendars for over the years, and it's been sent to the Met office to be shared. Yeah. So thank you very much for allowing me to present. And I would like to actually acknowledge all the Pacific Island countries and our colleagues in the region, and also not forgetting UNGGIM too as well for good collaboration and engagement, enhancing the geodetic datum as well, of the reference frame. Thank you very much. Vinaka.
Thank you, Andrick. We do have a couple minutes for some quick questions before we switch to our next speaker. Or raise it. I do have one quick question, maybe. I did see your plot of the core station on the vertical position of Suva. What happened in 2010? I think I saw on your slide giant dip essentially on the position, few centimeters.
Share that with you now.
I think it was.
Yeah, so it was there was
Yeah.
few centimeter of shift uh, vertical from the GNSS course in Apia. Uh, the graph we are looking.
Oh, it wasn't Suva. What happened at this time?
So there was a earthquake around in Apia in Samoa. And there was a tsunami as well, and on the east side of the main island, they got affected by the.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a dramatic change in height. Quite sudden too. Okay, very well. Seeing no other questions, but again, we'll have more for the discussion after.